As an avid collector of Kalimbas, there's one brand I've been eyeing for a very long time, and that is Hugh Tracey. Hugh Tracey Kalimbas began production all the way back in the 1950s, and are widely considered to be some of the best Kalimbas that money can buy. So, in this video, I'm delighted to share my thoughts on them, and give my review for my Hugh Tracey Kalimba of choice, this Chromatic Celeste treble. Now if you're new to the channel, my name is James McAllister, and I've been playing Kalimba for quite a few years now. I have almost a dozen in my collection, and the Chromatic Treble Kalimba by Hugh Tracey may just be the one that I play the most. I ordered it from KalimbaMagic.com about a year ago, and just a quick word about them, shipping was really fast, it was packed well, and when I sent a message to customer support, Mark got back to me in like 10 minutes, it was actually kind of crazy. I'm extremely impressed with them, and I can't wait to try other Kalimbas they sell later on. Anyway, while I can't seem to find the original packaging at the moment, I did take these pictures when I unboxed it. So, as you can see, it came in a nice small box. When I opened it, the Kalimba was placed neatly inside, fitted well so it couldn't move around a lot during shipping. There are also a few raised parts on the edges, probably so the tines don't get hit if the package ends up getting sort of impact damage during shipping. Although the box strangely says that it's a 15-note alto on the outside, I want to mention again that I opened and received the 17-note Chromatic Celeste treble as pictured. In addition to the Kalimba, there are a few other informational pieces as well, which were a nice bonus. These would especially be useful if you were new to Kalimba or were giving it as a gift. Kalimba Magic also sells other accessories and informational products, so it may be worth exploring their entire store. The Kalimba arrived perfectly in tune and was ready to play seconds after opening the box, which I loved. So, how does this feel in your hands? Well, I have no complaints, though it doesn't feel that much different to any other Kalimba I've tried, to be honest. If there's one apparent difference, this wood feels like a bit more textured, if that makes sense. Gecko Kalimbas, for example, they tend to feel really smooth when you're actually holding them, but this Kalimba definitely has a bit more texture to it. Personally, I actually feel like this is a good thing because it makes it easier to hold without sort of slipping out of your hand or accidentally dropping it, especially when you're playing fast. And I do want to mention that the wood itself, although it does feel textured, it doesn't feel like there's any chips or anything like that. You're not going to get any sort of splinters or any damage or pain to your hands. Now I must note that everything does feel very durable and well built. The wood is solid, the tines feel really high quality, and the overall construction is pretty good. It hasn't slipped out of tune at all in the year I've owned it, and it hasn't experienced any damage despite heavier than average usage. I mean, this thing still looks brand new and plays brand new. The kayak wood hasn't experienced any damage at all, despite experiencing both the extreme heat when I was in California for a bit, and the extreme cold here in Washington State. To be honest, I haven't really been good about controlling the humidity either, so it's nice to see that the wood is still in good shape. Feel-wise, if there's one thing I had to complain about while I'm actually playing it, is that the tines seem to be a little more rough and gritty, if that makes sense. They also seem spaced a little bit further apart than like a Gecko Kalimba or the other ones I tend to buy off like Amazon. And that does make it a little bit harder to slide your thumb across multiple notes at once. Since I don't really keep long nails, it actually hurt a little bit when I first started playing with this Kalimba. So it may require a small adjustment in technique to get that right. Out of everything I have to say, this is actually my biggest downside, which is again the grittiness of the tines. Though I must admit that it has gotten better since I've owned it, or maybe I just don't notice it as much, I'm really not sure. One more thing about the tines. Despite being spaced further apart, they don't slide as much side to side as many of the cheaper Kalimbas do. With some of the cheaper Kalimbas, I'm constantly readjusting them, which can be a bit annoying. And if you've been playing the Kalimba for a long time, you may see like one of the tines will like get pulled to the side and you'll have to like push it back into place so it's flat. And again, like, yeah, I hate dealing with that. Anyway, I don't have really this problem at all with the Hugh Tracey. I haven't even had to do that even once. So how does it sound? Well, this, along with the extra features I'll cover a little later, are what make Hugh Tracey Kalimbas so great in my opinion. This thing sounds amazing. And sadly, I do not think whatever speakers you're listening to this on can do it justice, especially being the Celeste flatboard type, which is this specific one. It really brings out the music box type of sound that I really love and kind of drew me to Kalimba in the first place. It just sounds so crystal clear and smooth, and everything just resonates so beautifully. Here's a sound clip for you to listen to, or hopefully by the time you're watching this, I've posted some covers. What I especially love about the sound is its consistency across the entire kalimba's range. A lot of kalimbas will start to buzz as soon as you approach the higher tines, or you'll need to press them down harder to get it to resonate as loudly. Now, flatboard kalimbas like this one, again, there's no hole, there's no box shape. These tend to be better with making sure the higher tines don't buzz at all anyway. But I've heard that even the Hugh Tracey, like the hollow kalimbas, they're also really good at this, and I've had no problem with buzzing or anything like that at all while I've been using this. And that really does help provide sort of a consistent, smooth playing experience that makes it so you don't really have to think about it at all. It can really be kind of frustrating or difficult to know that you have to adjust your technique as you play the higher notes. And again, having something like this really makes it more helpful as you play harder and more advanced pieces. Next, let's talk about the extra features. These won't be present on all Hugh Tracey kalimbas, so be sure to check for them if they matter to you. The first is the built-in pickup, which you can kind of see right here, this little silver thing. Now, if you plan on recording or using the kalimba for sound design, using a pickup makes that a lot easier. You can plug the kalimba in with a cable and record directly to a recording device, or run it through things like guitar pedals for a bunch of extra effects. This is a lot of fun, and I haven't experienced any buzzing or crackling. One thing to note though, this does pick up a lot of handling noise, or like your fingers moving, tapping on the wood, or just moving it around. And this did come as a surprise to me, so you should expect this when you're using the built-in pickup. Secondly, this specific model is chromatic, meaning it has all the notes you normally be missing on the back. You can see this here. I have my one set of tines and I flip it over, and I have a separate set of tines with different notes. Like the front tines though, the back ones, they came perfectly in tune and they sound great. The rear tines are 1/2 step down below the tine in front of it. So if you have, say, an A note on the front, the tine directly behind it is A flat. It definitely takes some getting used to, but having all these extra notes I feel is a huge benefit, and it prevents me from having to constantly retune my kalimba to play in a different key. And this is actually the reason I opted for this in the first place. I knew I needed a Chromatic Kalimba, and I figured why not get a Hugh Tracey. Finally, this is sort of weird, and I don't even know why I'm mentioning it, but the wood of this kalimba has a very unique and pleasant smell. I've never smelled anything like it before. I'm definitely not going to sit here and sniff my kalimba for you or the camera here, so you'll just have to take my word for it. Anyway, with all that out of the way, is it worth it? Ultimately, I think it depends on where you're at in your kalimba journey. Like most music gear, kalimbas have diminishing returns. This means as you move up in price, the additional value gets less and less. It's clear that Hugh Tracey kalimbas are a league above the cheaper kalimbas you'll usually find on Amazon, but even a $40 kalimba gets you 95% of the way there. Most of the popular kalimba covers you've probably seen use cheaper kalimbas, and they sound great, especially if you record them well. That being said, if you've been playing kalimba for a while and you know you're actually going to stick with it, then purchasing a Hugh Tracey kalimba can be a great idea. Plus, if you need a chromatic kalimba or one that has a pickup, you're gaining an extra feature with a lot of practicality in it. I should note that Hugh Tracey kalimbas often go for sale for less than half the price on eBay, so that's another decent option as well. Since there are no electronics other than the pickup, buying used isn't really a huge risk like it might be for some other instruments. There really aren't a lot of moving parts. Anyhow, if you have any questions about this Hugh Tracey kalimba, ask in the comments and I'll be happy to help. Additionally, if you'd like to learn my top tips to improve at the kalimba quickly, grab my free cheat sheet at musicalsanctuary.com/KalimbaCS. I'm willing to bet that there's at least one tip there that will help you see a noticeable improvement in your kalimba skills. Finally, subscribe for more kalimba videos, and check out some of the videos that will pop up here on the side in just a moment. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an incredible day.